Hello dear friends, I am Avdesh Pratap Patel and I welcome to all of you in another video on the history of Chhattisgarh. Today in this video we are going to talk about the Vakataka Dynasty and about the period in which Chhattisgarh was mostly affected by the activities of the rulers of Vakataka Dynasty. So without any further delay, let's start the video. So as far as Vakataka dynasty is concerned, Vakatkas ruled over the southern part of India during the 300 to 400 AD. Now, once the Satavahan rulers declined, the Vakataka rulers quickly established their hegemony over the southern part of India. When Vakatkas were ruling over the south and central part of India, the North India was being ruled by a very mighty empire known as the Gupta Empire. And there was a small kingdom between the Gupta Empire and the Vakataka Empire, which was being ruled by Nalas, the Nala dynasty, the kings of Nala dynasty. So if I have to show you that what were the locations of these three empires, I can do so by using these makeshift map. So let's do so. So this part was basically ruled by the Guptas. On the southern part was ruled by the Vakatkas, and a small kingdom which was sandwiched between the Gupta Empire and the Vakataka Empire was being ruled by the kings of Nala dynasty. If we talk about the dynasties of Vakataka, there were four major Vakataka dynasties, out of which the Nandivardhan branch was directly related with the Chhattisgarh. So in this video, we are going to explore about the most prominent Vakataka kings and their activities. Let's start with the very first Mahendra Sen. Mahendra Sen. So Mahendra Sen is the very first king of the Vakataka dynasty of Nandivardhan branch, about which we get information from the Prayag inscription, which is also known as Prayag laudatory inscription or Prayag Prashasti Abhilekh, which was written by Harishen, the bard or court poet of Samudragupta, the great Gupta king Samudragupta. So whenever we talk about the activities which took place in this era, we should know about the three Gupta kings, Chandragupta the first, Samudragupta and Chandragupta the second. Samudragupta is also known as Samarshat, the conqueror of 100 battles. He was a fearsome warrior and a great conqueror. So according to Harishen and his Prayag inscription, Mahendra Sen of Vakataka dynasty was subjugated or defeated by Samudragupta when he was on his south conquest. So according to Prayag inscription, he was defeated by, means Mahendra Sen was defeated by Samudragupta. And the Prayag inscription was written by Harishen, who was a court poet of Samudragupta. So actually when Samudragupta set out on his south conquest, he went through the kingdom of Nalas, and there he defeated Vyagraraj. And after defeating the Nala king Vyagraraj, he adopted, or he was given, the title of Vyagrahanta, means the tiger killer, because Vyagraraj means the king of tigers. And then he reached the Vakataka Empire, and there he defeated Mahendra Sen. And this information is received or have been acquired from the Prague inscription written by Harishan. Harishan was the bard poet or court poet of Samudragupta. But the Guptas were very much influenced by the Vakataka pride in their glory and their bravery as well. So they started establishing nuptial relationships, marital relationships with the Vakatkas. So Mahendra Sen was succeeded by Rudra Sen. So the next important Vakataka ruler is Rudra Sen. Now, what was the very important event in the tenure of Rudra Sen? So actually, Rudra Sen married the daughter of Chandragupta II, Prabhavati Gupta. So Prabhavati Gupta was a Gupta princess and she was the daughter of Chandragupta II, and she was married off to Rudra Sen. As I already have told you people that the Guptas were impressed by the Vakataka glory, so they established marital relationship with them, and Rudra Sen married Prabhavati Gupta. Prabhavati Gupta, the daughter of Chandragupta II. So this is the most important event which occurred during the tenure of Rudra Sen. Now let's come to the tenure of the third king. And here the third king is very important. His name is basically Damodar Sen, but he is known as Pravar Sen II. The next king about which or about whom we know or we have received the information, we have acquired the information, is Pravar Sen II. Now, Pravar Sen II is actually very important ruler from the point of view of events which took place in his tenure, from the point of view of all kind of examinations. So let's see what were the important events. So the first important fact regarding Pravar Sen II is that his original name was Damodar Sen. And when he ascended on the throne, he adopted the name of one of his illustrious ancestors, Pravar Sen. So Pravar Sen I was a very important and successful king of Vakataka Dynasty, but I am not mentioning him because he is not very important from the point of view of the examinations of Chhattisgarh. So actually Pravar Sen II was a very important king, and his original name was Damodar Sen, and he adopted the name of one of his very successful ancestors, Pravar Sen, when he ascended on the throne. Now, Pravar Sen II is the very king during whose tenure the great bard poet of the court of Chandragupta II, Kalidas, visited Chhattisgarh. So this is another important information regarding Pravar Sen. So Kalidas visited his court Now, during his journey to Chhattisgarh, Kalidas took sojourn, he took a rest for some time at Ramgarh Hills, and there he composed his very famous treatise known as Meghdutam. So Kalidas composed Meghdutam at Ramgarh Hills during his sojourn in his journey towards Chhattisgarh. So this is another very important fact. Kalidas composed or wrote Meghdutam at Ramgarh Hills. Now, the interesting fact about Meghdutam is that it has been translated in Chhattisgarhi by Pandit Mukutdhar Pandey. So, during his sojourn, Kalidas composed or wrote Meghdutam at Ramgarh Hills. And later on, this very Meghdutam was translated in Chhattisgarh by Pandit Mukutdhar Pandey. So, here we can mention it. Mukutdhar Pandey translated Meghdutam in Chhattisgarhi. Now, influenced by Kalidas, Pravar Sen II also developed a poetic taste, and he wrote many verses in Sanskrit which have been preserved in many Sanskrit anthologies. And he also composed a Prakrit Gatha, some set of slokas in Prakrit known as Prakrit Gatha. And this Prakrit Gatha has been incorporated in Gatha Shapshati. So Prakrit Gatha was composed by him, by Pravar Sen II, and was incorporated in Gatha Shapt Sati. So he was highly influenced by Kalidas, and he also developed a poetic taste, and he wrote many Sanskrit verses, and the Sanskrit verses were included in many Sanskrit anthologies. He also wrote Prakrit Gatha, which was included in Gatha Shaptashati. He was a Shaivite. Basically, Pravar Sen was a Shaivite, and he was a devotee of Shambhu. So he was a Shaivite and was a devotee of Shambhu. Shambhu means Lord Shiva. Despite of being a devotee of Lord Shambhu and a Shaivite, he has written a very important kavya in the glorification of Rama, and the name of that kavya is Setubandha. So he wrote Setubandha kavya in glorification of Ram or Rama. So for the glorification of Lord Rama, to worship Lord Rama, he wrote Setubandha Kavya. So this is a very important fact, that despite of being a Shaivite, he was worshipping or praising a form of Vishnu. Because at that time, in the ancient era, there was a schism, I should say there was a gap between the Shaivites and Vaishnavites. So he was a Shaivite, and despite of that fact, he wrote Setubandha in glorification of Rama. It was a big deal. So these are the important events which took place during the tenure of Pravar Sen II. So we can revise that his original name was Damodar Sen. During his tenure, Kalidas visited his court, and while he was coming to Chhattisgarh, he took a period of rest which is called Sojourn at Ramgarh Hills, and there he wrote Meghdutam. Now, this very Meghdutam was translated later on in Chhattisgarhi by Pandit Mukutdhar Pandey, and influenced by Kalidas, Pravarsen II developed a poetic text, and he wrote many Sanskrit verses which were included in many Sanskrit anthologies. He also composed Prakrit Gatha, which was later on incorporated in Gatha Shaptashati, and he was a Shaivite, a devotee of Shambhu, and despite of this fact, he wrote Setubandha Kavya in glorification and praise of Rama. So these were the important achievements and important events which took place in the tenure of Pravarsen II. Now, the next king, Narendra Sen. So Narendra Sen is another very important Vakataka ruler. Now, a very important piece of information has been acquired by about Narendra Sen, and that information has been acquired from an inscription called Riddhipur inscription. So from Riddhipur inscription, we get to know about Narendra Sen that he was defeated by a Nala king, and his name was Bhavadatta Varman. So basically, because the Vakatkas and Nalas were ruling side by side, so friction was obvious. So here Narendra Sen was the Vakataka king who was defeated by the Nala king Bhavadatta Varman. So according to Riddhipur inscription, he was defeated or subjugated by Bhavadatta Varman, who was a Nala king according to the Riddhipur inscription. So there is only one fact which we need to remember about Narendra Sen, that according to Riddhipur inscription, he was defeated by Nala king Bhavadatta Varman. So this is a very important fact. It shows that there was friction between the Nala and Vakataka empires. Now the next ruler, Prithvi Sen. Prithvi Sen. Here Prithvi Sen is a very important ruler because he took revenge of the defeat of his father Narendra Sen. So Prithvi Sen invaded the Nalas and defeated the then Nala king Arthpati Bhattarak. Arthpati Bhattarak, according to Kesari Veda inscription. So there is a single information which we need to memorize about Prithvi Sen, that he invaded and defeated Arthpati Bhattarak according to Kesari Veda inscription. Now, another king about which we have to know is Hari Sen. So Hari Sen is the last known Vakataka king. So Hari Sen actually is considered as someone from a different Vakataka dynasty. He is considered to be a Vakataka king from Vatsgulm dynasty of Vakatkas. So he was a Vakataka king from Vatsgulm dynasty. Vatsagulm dynasty, and he was the most powerful Vakataka king. There's another important fact about Hari Sen, that he had a minister, Varahadev, who had hewn the Ajanta caves. So Hari Sen's minister, his minister Varahadev, hewn the Ajanta caves or Ajanta Gufa caves. That's all about the Vakataka dynasty. So let's have a quick summary. As far as Vakatkas are concerned, they were contemporary of Guptas and Nalas. The important Vakatka kings are as follows. The first one is Mahendra Sen. So according to Prayag inscription written by Harishen, the Baudd poet of Samudragupta the conqueror, he was defeated by Samudragupta when Samudragupta was on his south conquest. Now the next one is Rudrasen. Because the Guptas were impressed by the Vakatka pride and glory, they established marital relationship with the Vakatkas, and in the same sequence of events, Prabhavati Gupta, the Gupta princess and the daughter of Chandragupta II, was married to Rudrasen. Now, Pravar Sen II, his original name was Damodar Sen, but he adopted the name of Pravar Sen. He is one of the illustrious ancestors at the time of his accession to the throne. And he is the same Vakatka ruler during whose tenure Kalidas visited his court. While Kalidas was reaching Chhattisgarh, he took a sojourn at Ramgarh Hills, where he composed or wrote his very famous kavya known as Meghdutam. Meghdutam was later on translated in Chhattisgarh by Mukurdhar Pandey. He was so much influenced, that means the Pravar Sen was so much influenced by Kalidas that he developed a poetic taste. He wrote many Sanskrit verses which were incorporated in many Sanskrit anthologies. He also composed Prakrit Gatha, which was incorporated in Gatha Shaptashati, and he was a Shaivite and a devotee of Shambhu, but yet he wrote Setubandha Kavya in glorification of Rama. And this was all about Pravar Sen II. Now let's come to Narendra Sen. Narendra Sen was defeated by Nala king Bhaudat Varman. As we already know that the Vakatkas and the Nalas, they were located near to each other and friction was obvious. So Narendra Sen was defeated by Nala king Bhaudat Varman according to Riddhipur inscription. So Riddhipur inscription is very important, according to which we get to know that Narendra Sen was once defeated by the Bhaudat Varman, the Nala king. Now, next one is Prithvi Sen. Prithvi Sen took revenge and he defeated Nala king Arthpati Bhattarak. And this information has been recovered by Kesri Bela inscription. So from Kesri Bela inscription, we get the information that Prithvi Sen defeated Arthpati Bhattarak, the Nala king. And the last important ruler of Vakatka was Harishen. It is considered that Harisen belonged to another dynasty of Vakataka, not the Nandivardhan about which we were studying. So he used to belong, or he belonged from Vatsgulm dynasty of Vakatkas. He is considered the most powerful Vakatka king, and his minister Varahadev had hewn the Ajanta Gufa caves. So in this video, that's all about the Vakataka dynasty. So friends, I will see you in the next video. For that time, bye.